Hello everyone. So we are here to discuss about some of the essays which came in the recently happened APSc mains. So here I will try to discuss two number of essays, one from part A and another from part B. Okay, we will go ahead with the discussions of each and every essays with our different resource persons as our faculties. They will discuss each and every 8 number of essays that have come in the recently conducted meets. So today I will try to discuss the two main important essays which has been appeared or which has been utilized or which has been যোনে আমি দেখিছো যে এই দুখন এছে maximum number of the individuals has attempted. Okay, আৰু মইতো ক'ব পাৰিম যে question number 4 to সবে attempt কৰিছে. Okay, maybe in the part B section people may have attempted differently, but yes, I can directly say that question number 4 has been attempted by each and every around 90% of the mains appearing candidates. Okay, so I'll try to take the two essays, question number 4 part A, question number 5 part B. For key essay, art provides enough to satisfy every man's need but not every man's greed, and impact of work from home on family life, that is in the part B. Okay, so let's start. So yate the first one, arts provides enough to satisfy every man's need but not every man's greed. Okay, so we all know that here it has been quoted by Mahatma Gandhi, okay, during the period of time when he has seen a good number of individuals exhausting the resources of earth which has been in plenty basically for its greed. Okay, so here I start kene koro paru enake start koribo lage ami. It's a famous quote by Mahatma Gandhi, and there is no doubt about how true this statement is, and there are many ways one can prove it. So the journey started after the creation of human being in this world, and as man got matured, he kept on inventing new things to get a better life. His wants were not restricted, desires were boundaryless, and if we see this in a broad perspective, all this happened because of greed. So yate kihor upor context of question to ase. Here the context is basically on greed and the particular person's wants. So jetia manuhor lagatke basic greed bahi jay, then he tries to destroy the resources, then he tries to manipulate the resources, then he tries to do all such number of unfair activities that he is basically not being adhered to. Manhe beya kam koribole dhore out of greed. So that is the core concept of this particular phrase that has been given to you based on the type of question. So it is the greed which made him the richest man in the world, and at the same time it is in greed that made the society unbalanced and unequal. Moi koa nai the greed is every time bad. Okay, if greed is basically in positive aspects, yes, your greediness is good. If you are greedy to clear this exam, if you are greedy to have a good position, if you are greedy to serve the society with ease, then your greed is good. But if you are greedy just for your own welfare, just for your personal benefits, at some point of time your greedy is illegitimate, which can never be okayed by the society. So therefore here it has been said that he is not bothered about breaching the rules of nature for self-fulfillment, and his desire of becoming bigger than others has changed the destiny of mankind. So today if we are a population, we are a mankind, we being a mankind or we being persons with brains, we can utilize our brains for the protection of this environment. And if this environment directly goes good, then obviously we will directly sustain ourselves for a longer period of time. So obviously we have to protect our particular earth for the future generations to come. We cannot exploit every type of resources that are in plenty today. So therefore we have to go for its judicious utilization. Okay, so a bostutuke yad koa goise. Then for many of us who live in a land of abundance, greed is not a sin. It is not even considered wrong. Instead, we now live in a world where we have idolized greed and used all kinds of glamorous names that make it fashionable and even desirable. Being wealthy is not wrong in itself, but glorifying the desire for wealth is terribly wrong. So you should not desire to go for something to become wealthier more than a person who is not so much wealthy as compared to you. Whatever you have got, that is, maybe you have got a good luck, or maybe you have seen, or maybe you are born with a golden spoon. That is something different. But if you are showing greediness in this particular context, I can directly say that this is directly wrong. So greed is a universal problem, and the food distribution system in the world is perfect example to support the above statement. Because today we know that why we have to directly run a process of this food security systems like the NFSA, National Food Security Act, it is only because we have got a difference between haves and have-nots. Jar sort ase bahut beshi ase, jar sort nai, and therefore we can see the differences in the society, and therefore inclusive growth is still a far real concept in our particular earth. Assume inclusive growth. We can even see today the difference between the people who have got nothing and the difference between people who have got everything. More than everything, if I can say. I can say Ambani has got more than everything, what he desires to be. Okay, and even for a person who is basically in the BPL line, so he or she may not have something to eat in one time. So that is the core concept over here. Millions of people in the world are suffering from starvation because of lack of food. Some may say that this is just a famine, a natural disaster that nobody has control of. Others say that there just is not food in the world to meet the needs of everyone. However, if one comes to think of it carefully, is there not enough food? It is more than just a famine causing this unfairness. So everything cannot be compared with a disaster. Nothing can be compared with a disaster. Disaster is a natural calamity. This is something which is human made. It's basically an anthropogenic intervention which Tere says about the lack of food for this particular people. So it is more than just a famine causing this unfairness. If every single person were to give a portion of their food that they do not need, surely there will be more than enough to go around to every human being living on this earth. Of course, taking is much easier than giving. It is because of human greed that there is not enough food for everyone. So, Azi, jar osor khabole bahut ase. They may directly hoard something for the future. During the time of the pandemics, you have obviously seen that people, whenever the shops gets open, people directly tries to hoard rice, dal, and pulses and everything for a longer period of time. But the other person who relies on day-to-day needs, they cannot directly afford to buy these items for a longer period of time. And therefore, they have to regularly go for the markets. And we can see that at that point of time, the supply chain value was very less. Supply chain nasile. People, when they directly go for hoarding, there are less resources for the people who cannot afford to hoard or who cannot afford to buy for a longer duration of time. So that is basically because of greed only. Okay, man makes use of everything in their reach to satisfy his greed. One of the things that contributes to man's wealth and power is Earth's own natural resources. Man unfortunately has exploited these resources beyond the limit. When a country owns more than resources, they are automatically richer. They use and sell these resources to develop their country. Just take the example of the West Asia. Even if I take the example of regions like Saudi Arabia, UAE, okay, they have got the main resources like crude oil, which runs the world today, which is utilized in every aspect of life. And therefore, they are how richer today. They are more richer than you can even think. Okay, so the greed comes in when different countries compete for more development, and the deforestation which has taken place due to commercial exploitation of trees for timber, resin, medicine, herbs, and etc. So competition correlate obviously key hai, greed hai. Today China is competing with the whole world. China is competing with the Western world mainly for greed. They wants to be more richer. They wants to be more known. They wants to be more developed in comparison to countries like the USA, countries like the West. Obviously, at some point of development, you are wasting natural resources, you are exploiting natural resources, you are cutting down, you are felling down trees, you are doing everything in this context. So, okay. So you can see even overgrazing of animals, agricultural utilization increasing in population, all has an adverse effect on environmental and have brought about ecological imbalance. The main culprit is the greed. So why today deforestation is occurring? Why today animals are getting killed? Because of their horns, because of the skin, because of the scales. It is only because of greed. Okay, so at that point of time, we could see that we are not sustainably living with the flora and fauna existing in the society. A বস্তুটো important is it. Okay, then man's greed makes him to buy as many things as he wishes, which increases the waste that exploit the earth. So context of চাব লাগিব. আজি আমি যিমানে বস্তু ইউজ কৰি আছো, সেই বস্তুটোৰ এটা waste জমা হৈ গৈ আছে. Today you are procuring more and more number of items directly from Amazon. They are coming in packings, plastic proof packing or any proof packings. So this packings, যেতিয়া খুলিবা বস্তুটো উলিয়াবা, এই বস্তুবিলাক পেলাবা ক'বা. Waste are getting generated. So therefore you can see this is only because of greed. Okay, earth can degrade itself some of the biodegradable waste materials, but when it comes to non-biodegradable toxic and e-waste, it cannot do even for a good period of time. As here a plastic biodegrade hobole kiman bochor lagi jay, it nearly takes about 100 to 1000 years. That is the idea that we can see, and therefore we can see all such number of concerns today in relations to this plastics. And plastic enuka nohoy je only it is present in the land area, it can be also seen in the sea, in the oceans, where life below water are getting affected. Okay, so here I go. Earth is still alive. Every individual has a responsibility in protecting the environment if they are serious about leaving a world for the next generation to inherit. And there is a need now to curb the unhealthy consumption that the world has become a slave to, as there is a direct link between excessive production and environmental degradation. Okay, so excessive production is because what? Because the demand is higher. So when the demand will be higher, then at some point of time supply will also be increasing. Our tar logot ki jama hobo? Wastage jama hobo. And people will try to exploit this particular number of resources. And this is the another cause of environmental degradation. So therefore, man is still going on increasing his desire and greed, and two questions are still left unanswered. Key question: will man be able to find another planet in the universe like Earth to migrate? Or you can see, will man be able to alter that planet to make it suitable for our living? This is the question I say. When you are directly acting in the context of greed. So therefore, in this present context, if you are okay, if you are going on for all such number of exploitation, when you are going on for greed, at some point of time, the earth will diminish to go ahead with the proper balance between humanity as well as its natural resources. So hetu karone ami eta greed control amount of rakhibo lage, so that it could not directly go outside the limit of the appropriate amount of context that we need to have to sustain in this particular planet. So obviously, lastly, ki koriba? Mahatma Gandhi said this one, but not every man's greed. What Gandhi meant was that the nature earth has enough resources and means to meet the basic requirements of man. Today, if I say an example, example supposedly, today, in the context of water, water is what? Water is a need of humanity, and not only humanity, I can tell, water is a need of the living organisms. Plants ko water lage, animals ko lage, obviously manho ko lage. So water is a need. But if I say cold water, can I say cold water is a need? Obviously, cold water is not a need. Cold water is a greed. Okay, so there is a difference between these two, and we have to clearly analyze these two things in our life. So bostute ei bostuto thake. Etu moi just an example dilo. But at some point of time, we have to go for water, and we do not have to go much for the cold water, because there is a huge difference between what is need and what is greed. So he kothatoke Mahatma Gandhi a context of kole. Okay, and he also said that rich must not only restrict their wants but must also treat their wealth as trust for poor and use it for the welfare of the poor. Okay, and that is basically one thing which is known as inclusive growth. Okay, so ekhini context of jodi tumalke essay kon likhisa, then I can say you will get some of the good marks. Okay, Chalo, coming to the next one. Impact of work from home on family life. Okay, you can see that how this work from home came into prominence just after the pandemic. Okay, introduction the shift to working from home due to COVID-19 pandemic has had both positive and negative impacts on family relationships. On the positive side, this has allowed people to spend more time with their families, which can strengthen family bonds and improve communication. It has also allowed for more flexibility in terms of balancing work and family responsibilities, as people are able to more easily adjust their schedules to accommodate childcare or other family needs. Okay, so yet that introduction koruke didla. Okay, now if I have to say that overall the impact of work from home on family relationship is mixed. While it has allowed for more time together and flexibility in terms of balancing work and family responsibilities, it has also brought challenges related to boundary setting and a lack of social support. Work from home বুলি কলে কি বুঝো? ঘৰৰ পৰা কাম কৰা। আৰু এটো কেতিয়া prominent হৈছিলে? During the COVID pandemic. Okay, when people cannot go outside their homes. Okay, people are isolated in their homes. Okay, when the lockdown was in menace. Okay, so even many people migrated. So as is like MNCs काम কৰি আছিলে, they all work from home. Okay, so that is one of the core questions in this particular one. Okay, so now we can see about the work from home. Okay, starts working. এটা ধুনীয়াকে কাৰ্টুন দিয়া আছে, ধুনীয়াকে মই. Okay, what are the key highlights over here? So a poll was carried out by a small group of economists in 27 nations in the middle of 2021 and the beginning of 2022 to learn more about people's sentiments towards work from home globally. And according to this study, কি কৈছে? 82% of participants say that they preferred work from home to returning to office. Asikali manhe work from home bhal poa hol. Okay, work eta kuno manhe office jawa bhal napai. Okay, the people who were basically at some point of time went to office in cabs, also going through traffics. Okay, ticket okole eta time ot jun lage office goi asile aji kuno office jabo nibisare because this work from home facility has made them very much inclined towards this particular aspect. Okay, so here is 82%, which is very good number. Okay, then the epidemic first made remote work mandatory for employees, but after 2 years work from home has established as a new standard, and as things have come down, new habits have emerged. Okay, so here laha laha belek type or thingu bahi jai. The study also found that 64% of workers indicated that they are more productive and experience less stress when they work from home. ঘৰৰ পৰা কাম কৰিলে কি হয়? Obviously productivity to তাহাতে ভাবে that they are more productive, and laha laha you can see that they are facing less stress just because they are very much close to their family and also to their respective counterparts. Okay, so the technology is already advancing quickly to transform how businesses interact with their staff and achieve a deeper, more meaningful engagements that benefits everyone. It was an important factor. Okay, so now what are the highlights of the survey of the Indian population? Compared to their international counterparts, Indians who work in locations where teleworking is possible have adapted to the new work from home culture more successfully. Amar jodi Ohomor context ko, we have got many number of our Assamese people who are working basically in cities like Bengaluru, in cities like Chennai, in cities like Hyderabad, in cities like Mumbai, Delhi. So they all came back to their homes and today they are working from home. Okay, not even relocating to their respective cities. Indians work from home 2.6 days a week, the most of any nations, and significantly more than the 1.5 days per week average for the world. Okay, this is just some of the specific numbers which I have given you on the basis of this particular essay. Okay, so you have to have a number of when compared to the global average of 5%, the poll respondents were willing to sacrifice up to 6.9% of their income in order to receive 2 or 3 days of work from home per week. মানে এতিয়াও বহুতে কিছুমানক যদি মাতাও গৈছে তেখেতসকলৰ work from home facility to ল'ব বিচাৰে লাগিলে salary কমাই দে but মই ঘৰৰ পৰা কাম কৰিম. So that is the type of concept that is directly coming up in this particular scenario. Since women carry a disproportionate amount of the load of housework in most countries, including India, a little more than half of the survey claim that they are more productive while working from home during the pandemic and cited less interruptions and calm work conditions as contributing factors. So ঘৰত কৰিলে কি হৈ যায়? Obviously নিজৰ এটা room থাকে, নিজৰ roomৰ atmosphere কৰা যায়. Okay, তো এটা situation create হৈ যায় তাত য'ত মই এটা নিজৰ free space ত মই নিজৰ এটা me, not free space, me space. Okay, me space ত মই নিজৰ কাম এটা কৰিব পাৰিম. Obviously office is not a me space. Okay, তাতে তুমি সব কাম কৰিব নোৱাৰা. ইয়াতে you can do anything whenever you are at work. Okay, obviously in the office you have to be very much formalized. Here you can be casual. Okay, so here bostu to ahise. So advantage of the work from home likhi dila eta better work life balance. Yes, bhalke balance hoy jay. Remote jobs comes with flexible schedules where their workers can start and end their day as they choose if their work is complete and leads to strong outcomes that are proper. I mean balance wise up. Okay, then we can see less commute seats. মানুহে ট্ৰেভেল কৰিব নালাগে আৰু যেতিয়া ট্ৰেভেল কৰিব নালাগে মানুহে ট্ৰেফিকত ফচিব নালাগে আৰু ট্ৰেফিকটো এটা কি হয় সাৰদাৰ ধৰণে মূৰৰ কামুৰণি সো হেতু কাৰণে এটো এটা বহুত ভাল ফ্যাক্টৰ হৈ যায় ওকে লেস কমিউট স্ট্ৰেছ you can see all these people then job opportunity beyond geographical location okay today we can see that আজি আমি ভাল ভাল opportunity কিছুমান পাই আছো working with some of the good MNCs okay preferably in an area where you cannot expect that an MNC will directly come and sit in your particular state or city. আজি অসমতে মই এক্সপেক্ট কৰিব পাৰিম নেকি যে এভাৰেজ এন্টিভাইৰাছৰ ইয়াতে এটা MNC খুলি আছে আজি মই এক্সপেক্ট কৰিব পাৰিম নেকি ডাঙৰ HP ৰ অফিস এটা খুলি আছে MNC এটা we cannot expect it but still today the people who are working from home directly from Assam they are working in MNCs like this Avast directly working in MNCs like the HP Lenovo puri ase ajika so that is one of the advantage then improved inclusivity that means remote work enables companies to embrace diversity and inclusion by hiring people from different socio-economic geographical and cultural backgrounds with different perspectives which cannot be challenging to accomplish when recruiting is restricted to a specific location so আজি আমি এটো কি কৰিব পাৰো obviously people from any locations can come and join us through this particular inclusivity of IoT that is the Internet of Things positive environmental impact a whopping 7.8 billion vehicle miles traveling is saved each year for those who work at least part-time from home and avoiding 3 million tons of greenhouse gases and oil savings of $980 million. Etu hoise kiyo kare environment factors. But obviously now the traveling expense has gone down. Okay, as the traveling expense nami jabo mane ki gari motor kom cholche rasta and this is basically adding less greenhouse gases to the respective environment. So by making environmentally sound choices like opting to use less paper and monitoring their air conditioning, heating and lighting, telecommuters have the same potential impact on air quality as planting an entire forest of 91 million trees. You can see the impact of work from home. So anyone who has a work from home is always bad. It has a very good concept. It's a very good concept which has been evolving nowadays just after this pandemic. So the pandemic, sobe koi noy je jiye ahe kiba bhalu hoy jay tar karone. Okay, pandemic is though a scary thing for the world. Many people have died due to this pandemic. But yes, it came up with a revolution of work from home. Okay, that's what increased productivity and performance. Obviously, they have said that telecommuting usually leads to fewer interactions, fewer office politics, a quieter noise level, and a fewer unnecessary roundtable meetings as well. Removes the monotony of office cubicles, which leads to increased productivity. Okay, so obviously তাতে টেলিকলিং ঘৰৰ পৰা টেলিকলিং কৰিলে বেছি ইজি হৈ যায় তাতে গুটেই জেগাত এটা BPO এটা কথাই মই যদি কওঁ যে গুটেই সব মানুহে যদি তাতে টেলিকলিং কৰি থাকে তো obviously your concentration level your stress level directly goes up okay which is basically a scenario that you can see in this particular context obviously a happier healthier work life remote flexible workers tends to be happier and more loyal employees in part because working from home has been shown to lower stress provide more time for hobbies and interests and improve personal relationship among other things লগত থাকিলে personal relationship ভালে হ'ব okay দূৰে দূৰে থাকিলে হে office কা থাকিলে হে personal relationship বেয়া হয় okay so that is one but here we have come with various number of challenges also because we have to discuss the two things also some workers find working from home exhausting since it can cause them to work past their regular hours and throw off their work life balance etu হয় কিন্তু এতিয়া কাবাৰ যদি shift এটা আছে from 2 pm to 11 pm just because of work from home okay তেখেতসকল কেতিয়াবা sign in to সোনকালে কৰিব লাগে supposedly the sign in is basically at 1:30 pm আৰু এৰুটেও কেতিয়াবা কি হৈ যায় 11:30 হ'বলে ধৰে বা at least 12 টা বাজি যায় so obviously ইয়াতে work life balance to নোহোৱা হৈ যায় okay time to increase হৈ যায় regular hours যেটো আছিল আগতে এটা ফিক্স আছিল এটো টাইমত ক্যাব গৈ পাব গৈ এটো টাইমত ক্যাব এৰি যাব so obviously fixed time আছিল but এতিয়া time বোৰৰ balance to নোহোৱা গৈছে okay according to research as the lines between employees job and personal lives blurred during the pandemic the number of working hours increased so এটা কি হৈছে lines between employees job and personal lives blurred during the pandemic the number of working hours increased এতিয়া লাহে লাহে because since the traveling is less, আগতে তো হে travel was a part of job বুলিয়ে ভাবে, since the traveling is less now, therefore peoples are tend or the companies are directly tending peoples to go for more number of working hours. Okay, কিবা মিটিং সিটিং দি দিব, okay, কিবা ট্রেনিং দি দিব, so এটা চলিয়ে থাকে. Few employees experience stress or burnout while working remotely, which is partially attributed to the loneliness of working alone. কি কলো? Few employees experience stress or burnout while working remotely, which is partially attributed to the loneliness of working alone. কেতিয়াবা অকলশৰে কাম কৰিবলৈও মানুহৰ আমনি লাগে. কিমানৰ অকলে অকলে কাম কৰি থাকিব? Supposedly who is not a married or even if it's a married, সদায় সদায় এখন ফেচকে দেখি দেখি কেতিয়াবা মানুহৰ বৰ লাগি যায়. So if you meet different number of peoples when you are in office, okay, obviously our office could have around 100 to 200 employees. বেলেগ মানুহৰ বেলেগ shiftত মানুহ লগ পাই থাকিলে obviously you will feel good. Okay, you will feel more inclusive in the society, you will feel more social as compared to this private group that you have. So it is an issue. Interacting with one another brings remote workers together and make employment simpler and more enjoyable. কালি পৰহি যদি মই কথা পাতি পেলাই কাম কৰি আছো, then at some point of time obviously মই কাবাৰ লগত এটা কথা পাতিম, তাৰপিছত ইফালে কাবাৰ লগত পাতিম, মোৰ সন্মুখৰ লগত পাতিম, মোৰ পিছফালৰটো লগত পাতিম, then obviously the work becomes enjoyable. অকন হাঁহি ফূৰ্তি কৰিব পাৰি. Okay, so that is the thing. Work from home employees avoid chit chatting with co-workers, losing the water cooler effect. Water cooler effect কি হয়? এই বস্তুটো water cooler effect. This is something like this. মই এখন পিকচাৰ দিছিলো ইয়াত, এইটো বস্তু water cooler effect. Okay, and this is not only in the context of this water cooler. Even you can see that it is in the context of the coffee machines. Okay, coffee machine effect. তো suppose এনেকা পানী ভৰাবলৈ গ'ল বটলত, okay, তাতে গৈ পেলাই দুবাৰমান অকমান কথা পাতিলে, অকমান হাঁহিলে, okay, অলপ হাঁহিলে, okay, ই অলপ খঙত আছে নাজানো কিয়, okay, মেবি চাগে অলপ প্ৰেছাৰ দিছে HR বা মেনেজাৰ. এনিৱেজ, সো ইয়াতে পানী ভৰাই আছে, okay, পানী ভৰাই থাকোতে অলপ দেৰি ৰখিলে, ইয়াত ৰখি অকমান দেৰি কথা পাতিলে. সো এইটো কৈ আছে water cooler effect. এইটো ইভেন আমি কনটেক্সট আনিম কফি মেচিন এফেক্ট. কফি আনিব গ'ল, কফি আনিব যাওঁতে অবভিয়াসলি দুখন কথা পাতিলে, 5 মিনিট মান টাইম কটালে. সো দিস আর ফান in your respective life of job. So etu ami koi asu water cooler effect. Okay, etu ami koi asu water cooler effect. Okay, which includes spending time at the coffee maker or water cooler, which is a much more important aspect of office life. Okay, that's what this has slowed down the development of new compressed and professional networks and lessened the intensity of knowledge exchanges, which may be why some employees have begun requesting the workers to go back to their offices. So etu ahi hoise because the development of new contracts and professional networks has lessened the intensity of knowledge exchange. মানুহ যেতিয়া কম কথা পাতে, মানুহ যেতিয়া কম ইন্টাৰেকশন হয়, মানুহৰ মাথা বিলাকো মানুহৰ নলেজ বিলাকো স্ট্যাটিক হ'বলৈ ধৰে, ডাইনামিক হ'বলৈ নধৰে. সো এটো কাৰণে এটা কিছুমান মানুহে প্ৰবলেম পাই আছে. Teamwork and company success have begin negatively harmed by missing out of this collaboration. Okay, যেটো লগত বহি পেলাই টিম ওয়ার্ক কৰে, টিম বুলি আমি যেটো ৰিপ্ৰেজেন্ট কৰো, লগত বহি থাকিলে লগত কাম দিলে কেনেকৈ ভাল লাগে, এই বস্তুটো নেগেটিভলি এফেক্ট হৈছে. Okay, so that is the thing. So India আজি এটা বস্তু আহিছে, companies have innovated the idea of virtual water cooler channel for everyone to discuss non-work related topics and to fulfill the social need of workers. So এইটো এটা নতুন কিছুমান আইডিয়া লৈ আহিছে non virtual water cooler channel. So এইবিলাক আইডিয়া লৈ আহিলে so that we can see some of the motivation that we can see amongst the people who are basically working for a respective company and as a team. Okay, so conclusion কি হ'ব? When done right, remote works always employees and companies to focus on what really matters, that is performance. Unfortunately, the office environment can create false positivities that can lead to bias and favoritism. Despite all the challenges, flexible working arrangements are more viable, even if large organizations completely built on teleworking are still a reality. So এনেকুৱা নহয় যে এটা large company MNCs সদায় work from home to allow কৰিব. But yes, gradually আমি যদি এটা balance ৰাখিব পাৰো, it is very good for us because it's not very much bad option for a person who is working from home, because even for a company the good number of resources যিখিনি ওয়েস্ট হৈ আছিল বা যিখিনি ইনভেস্ট হৈ আছিল, নট ওয়েস্ট বুলি নকওঁ, যিখিনি ইনভেস্ট হৈ আছিল সেই বস্তুখিনি আজি তেখেতসকলৰ বাছি আছে. ওকে, সাপোজলি পেট্ৰলৰ খৰচ বাছি আছে, ডিজেলৰ খৰচ বাছি আছে, ওকে, ট্ৰেভেলিং কষ্ট বাছি আছে তেখেতসকলৰ, খোৱা কষ্ট বাকি আছে, মেইনটেনেন্স কষ্ট বাছি আছে. সো এই গুটেখিনি এটা ফ্যাক্টৰ হ'ব পাৰে. So obviously you have to go with a balanced scenario if you are a big company. So you cannot directly outrightly reject the work from home technology, work from home techniques, which is impacting the family life. আৰু আমি জানো যে work from home কি কৰিছে লাহে লাহে family life or impact to বঢ়াই দিছে, because at some point of time people today are more closer towards the family. They are living aside with their family. কোনবা বেংগলোৰত চাকৰি কৰি আছে, কোনবা চেন্নাইত চাকৰি কৰি আছে, but still they are working from home today in Assam, in any part of Assam, because আজি IoT ক'ত নাই, today internet is everywhere. So anyone who has got a speed connections, anyone has got a good connections, they are with their family, they are with their mother, brother, sisters, father, sobor logote ase. They are having a good family life, and it has directly impacted the main thing associated with the family, that is the personal touch. So if you cannot directly outrightly reject the things associated with this work from home, so lastly, a hybrid work model will provide employees with greater flexibility and the option to work from home or anywhere they can be most productive. So this radical shift will have a profound impact on companies, cities, and broader economic frameworks. So এইখিনিতে আমাৰ work from home কথাটো আছিলে, which is more than sufficient. If you have written everything associated with this topics, এইখিনি বস্তু যদি তোমালোকে লিখিছা, I can directly say that you are getting some of the wonderful marks in relation to this particular topic. So for other further discussions, please stay tuned to our channel. Our respective faculties will come up with all other essays that needs to be discussed in the coming times. Okay, for today I have discussed the question number 4 and 5 of part A and B. Okay, so if you have any doubts related to our programs, or if you have any queries, you can scan this code or you can call us by our number 91275 15541. That is all from today from my side. Thank you all.